From Dens Park, BBC Radio Scotland, it's Sportside with Willie Miller and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Richard. Yeah, Aberdeen's much-needed Scottish Cup win over Kilmarnock was immediately overshadowed by Neil Warnock's departure. But none of that can disguise the requirement to start winning league games, and quickly. They haven't done so in 10 matches. And Dundee, who have plenty of reasons of their own to desire all 3 points, will look to extend the visitors' league woes and at the same time strengthen their own case for a place in the top 6. The sides are out on a still rather bedraggled Dens Park pitch. I'd have to say both goalmouths looking a bit worse for wear after a heavy winter. The home side all in navy blue this evening. The visitors likewise all in red. As we prepare to get underway, and what the guys have been discussing is a really huge night in the Scottish Premiership, despite there only being the 2 games. Things will begin to fall into place both this evening and over the next few weeks as top 6 and bottom 6 are formed. And Joe Shaughnessy, the former Aberdeen player himself, now Dundee captain, alongside the current Dons captain Graham Shinney, who will no doubt still be kicking himself after picking up a really silly yellow late in that Scottish Cup win over Kilmarnock, which denies him the opportunity to play against Celtic in the semi-final. But having gotten the score sheet, he'll be looking to help inspire his side once more this evening at Dens Park. The referee Stephen McLean, who is making his way into the centre circle with the match ball. It is a really good crowd in here this evening. As Richard mentioned, we can only see parts of the stadium from the top of the main stand, but all around us it's a pretty packed main stand. Aberdeen fans gather across to our left, looking good voice and good number, and across on the far side as well the home fans have turned out well. So it will be Aberdeen to get us underway, going from left to right as we look at it from our vantage point high up in the main stand. And Stephen McLean blows the whistle. A Dundee win here in October 2021 is the only one in the last 26 league meetings of these sides, incredibly. Tony Docherty, assistant at tonight's visitors for 8 years, seeking to add to that tally this evening. Willie Miller, you've already given some of your views, but just for me, how do you think this is going to go? And for the listeners.
Yeah, of course. Well, I hope we've got some listeners, Al. I'm sure we have. I'm sure they'll be sitting on the edge of their seats comfortably, hoping whichever team you support, their team comes out on top. I think it is a vitally important game for both sides. You know, Dundee doing extremely well this season. Aberdeen, underperforming. There's no doubt about that. They've got to recreate that form that they showed against Kilmarnock. As for Dundee, I think the couple injuries is a major blow for Tony Docherty, but he's always positive in his pre-match talk and sending out the right message to the fans and his players as well. Different formations too, so it'll be interesting to see how Dundee cope with the Aberdeen formation, that back 5, and Aberdeen having the 3 up top. That's always interesting. So perfect conditions for a game of football. Apart from the pitch is looking a little bit worn, but above the pitch the conditions are fabulous.
Yep, not as windy as it sounded in Dingwall, that's for sure, as Dundee begin to come forward for the first time after a fairly lengthy delay, in Kelleros taking a free kick which took up most of the first minute and a half. Aberdeen have picked up possession though, and it's Hoylett who was one of the many Aberdeen players who lifted their performance on Saturday. He plays it back in field to Barron likewise, and Mackenzie now swings it in looking for Majowski. It's over the top of his head and a couple of Dundee defenders, and it will go behind for a Dundee goal kick. John McCracken, as I say, continuing in the Dundee goal, 6th appearance. He was at the club back in the summer, but swiftly went back to Norwich after Trevor Carson signed on permanently, with Legsdons and Sharp also around. But he's been brought back in, and he's between the sticks tonight, and he's launched one long looking for Main, who thought he was being fouled. Comes to Tiffany, actually, a slack bit of play there by Barrett. Tiffany tries the shot, Rose palms it out, chance for Main, and Rose dives on it before Main can turn it into the net. Big chance there for Dundee as Kelleros saved initially, but it looked like Main would turn it into the net, but Rose got up to deny him, and it remains in the early stages Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0.
I'm struggling to comprehend why Main didn't get a toe in that ball. He's limping. I don't get it. I didn't see a tackle coming into him. I think that's embarrassing, actually, in terms of that chance. Roos not doing what he should be doing. You know, that shot from Tiffany, it bounces in front of him. It's difficult to take, but he's got to get that out wide. He can't put it back into the mix. It falls for Curtis Main. He gets a good touch, it bobbles up, and then I don't know, does he think that he's going to be taken out by the goalkeeper? Does he hold back? Does he just switch off? He just seems to freeze. You know, he's complaining to the physio. Look at Tony Dock down there. He's thinking the same thing as me. Why is that not in the back of the net? Huge chance for Dundee. He should have scored.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Willie. It's rather baffling as to quite why he wasn't able to turn it into the net after Kelleros had parried it back into his path. A major let-off for Aberdeen in these opening minutes. Still 0-0, but here come Dundee once more. But a free kick's been given against Dundee, and Aberdeen will have a respite after that early positive start from the home side. And Tiffany's shot, as you say, it was a decent test for Kelleros, but it went back into a dangerous area, and he, for me, Willie, hasn't looked the same keeper this season as he has. I suppose you could say that about most of the team, however. Yeah, probably, but you know, you need that. Sorry, I'm just coming off there. I thought that was an opportunity for Aberdeen, just a long ball. Almost broke to one of the Aberdeen strikers, but Shaughnessy able to hack it away. On you go. Yeah, he's got to be better. He is a better goalkeeper than what he's been shown this season. He's away probably at the end of the season. Is that in his mind? Probably is. It's affecting his performances. You know, too many occasions he's been, you know, part of the problem with goals going in. And really, on that occasion, that was another, you know, opportunity for the opposition to find a very early lead, and all down to the goalkeeper's mistake. Aberdeen are picked up in the middle of the park. Good play from McGrath, and then Phillips trying to slide it forward into the path of Majowski, but too much in the pass. And off his line comes 23-year-old McCracken on loan from Norwich, and all in lime green this evening. He's grabbed the ball and has it in his possession, and just waves his back three forwards as he prepares to launch it up the field. And Barron again with a second slack touch of the evening. That one's not going to be as costly as the first one almost was, when he allowed Tiffany that shot at goal that should have probably led to the opener from Curtis Main, but didn't. You'll be able to see for yourself why it didn't end up in the back of the net, as Richard mentioned. 10:40 on BBC One Scotland tonight for Sports Scene. The highlights of both games as McCracken has the ball back once more, and it's Portales out to the right hand side where Costello is operating as a wing back. Did wonder, Willie, I mean, Costello, I know he's not first choice by any means in that position, but he's having to operate there tonight. Clearly he's more of an attacking player than a defensive one, and he'll have to be switched on at times when Aberdeen come forward. Yeah, I think so, but you've got to remember he's got three you know, central defenders as well to help him out too, so he should be able to play that position. Here's Dodgson, a great ball in just in front of two Dundee players into the Aberdeen penalty area and behind for a goal kick. That was Owen Beck style delivery from the left hand side from his namesake Dodgson, but all the way through and all the way behind for a goal kick, and it remains after 6 minutes. Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0. Listen, I don't want to be too hard on Curtis Main, but I didn't see that being too far away from him, managing to extend his neck and get his forehead on it. It was a fantastic cross from Dodgson. So difficult to defend, almost impossible to defend. It was very fortunate for Aberdeen that it went right across the face of the goal, missing Tiffany, and also strangely, I would have to see it again, maybe I'm being too hard on him because it was whipped in there, but I thought, you know, a striker with the instinct would have been onto that and would have got it with the forehead, and if he had made any kind of contact at all, it would have been a goal. Yeah, a couple of decent chances you've got to say for Dundee, and particularly Curtis Main in these opening minutes, and Tony Docherty will certainly hope they don't come to rue those as the evening progresses, as Aberdeen trying to come forward down the left hand side. They've got a throw in midway inside the Dundee half over on the far side. I'm going to have to sit down, Willie, because I can't see over at that far side of the park when I'm standing up. It's we hope that when Dundee open their new stadium they think about the commentary teams so that we can see all parts of the pitch. Here is Hoylett trying to find Majowski, but McCracken just allows that ball to arrive as he waits for it on his goal line. Majowski couldn't get the better there of Donnelly, who was his marker, and it's safely back in the hands of the keeper. And now out to Donnelly, left-hand side. Forward for Main, who flicks on looking for Tiffany, but Devlin will get there first. And it turns it up the right, flicked on by Majowski. Back there goes Dodgson, but McGrath's got the better of him and tries to find Hoylett. Almost a perfect ball, but it was read by Portales, who just gets the boot in. There's a Dundee player down here on the near side, but plays continuing as Aberdeen nick it back momentarily. Cameron, though, wins it for Dundee, who come forward once more, and it's Main trying to get the better there of Garteman, failing to do so. Devlin knocks it long up to the halfway line. 8 played, still goalless. Just trying to see who that is that's limping there. Oh, it's Aaron Donnelly, actually, who's gone down. Must have taken a knock as the ball was played up to him, and he's going to require treatment here. The young centre back. I only realised recently, well, I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but the reason he was out just after the winter break, he actually had heart surgery. It was an irregularity that was only popped up in some ECG testing that was going on at the club, and he was only part of that testing because he got sent off for the Northern Ireland under 21s, and he came back to the club early and it was picked up, and he's had the operation. Here he is back playing again.
Okay, no, I didn't realise that, but obviously it's been seen to, and he's got the all clear, and it's good to see him, you know, back in the field of play for you know, the young man. I didn't see what happened there in terms of the knock that he's got, but nothing major. He's back up and play continues.
Yeah, almost 10 minutes on the clock. No goals. Donnelly gets his head to the clearance, but it comes to Majowski, edge of the box, trying to burrow his way in between 3 or 4 Dundee defenders. He's still got it, Majowski. Now he leaves it to Phillips, and it's blocked away out behind for a corner in the end. Majowski, don't know how on earth he managed to keep the ball for as long as he did. Then he tried to tee up Phillips, who was denied by a combination of a couple of Dundee defenders behind for a corner. But Aberdeen's best moment of the game so far.
Yeah, without doubt. You know, Majowski is a real threat, but there was a swarm of Dundee players round about him. He was well outnumbered as he got himself in round about the penalty box. It looked as though perhaps it was going to fall for his left foot. It broke to Phillips, and you know, Phillips coming from a deep area has the strike, and it's well blocked.
Shinnie's corner from the right hand side, left one's a deep one. McCracken goes to his back post and gets a good fist to take it away out to the right hand side, and Dundee then able to clear further up the park as Tiffany almost latches on to the ball that was played forwards from Cameron. It's Cameron picking up now as it breaks back to him. Tiffany on the right flank, just coming in off the touchline now towards the Aberdeen penalty area, back into the midfield, and then back to Dodgson on the left hand side. Donnelly's on the overlap at the byline, gets a good cross in, flicked away as far as Cameron, who claims for a handball. Big shouts for a handball, and Stephen McLean has given it. Or has he? What's it?
I think it was a push.
Yeah.
I think it's a free kick. I think it was Curtis Main that, as he went in there, pushed one of the Aberdeen defenders. Not sure if it was McDonald. Perhaps it was McDonald on that side of it. But I saw a clear push, so even if it was a penalty, then I think it would have been overturned, because there's no doubt that the hand was on the back of the Aberdeen defender as he pushed him towards Kelrus.
Yeah, if I can try and offer some defence and thinking that was a penalty. I mean, the free kick's going to be taken about a yard away from the penalty spot. I did think McLean was pointing to the spot, but you're right, Willie. There must have been a push in there, and the referee has given a free kick to Aberdeen. But Dundee again looking like they're going to be threatening over the course of this evening. That's 3 or 4 times now they've entered into that Aberdeen penalty area and looked to cause some damage. But Ross takes the free kick. Silla's there though. Phillips goes down, but Tiffany leads the charge forward. Main won't catch that one, I don't think. Devlin steps in, tries to play it away and succeeds in doing so, but straight out of play. And you have to say the home side have started the brighter, Willie.
Without doubt, you know, really dangerous. 3 great opportunities. I would have to say this early in the game, I think Tony Docherty will be well pleased with the directness of his team. You know, Tiffany in particular, whenever he's got the ball, the only things in his mind is to go forward, is to drive and commit defenders. I don't think you see enough of that these days, it's I think it's the last thing a midfielder or a defender wants to see is someone picking up the ball and coming at him with pace. So he's been impressive, and I think Dundee all round have been impressive. Aberdeen still to find their feet, still to find the form, still to really, you know, get a grip in this game. Only the Majovski chance, and that was basically a solo effort, wasn't it? So I think Peter Leaven will be hoping that the team will grow into this game.
Yeah, Tiffany has been certainly bright at the start of this game. He was talking recently about the fact that perhaps the reason he hasn't been quite at the levels we've seen from him last season in a Partick Thistle jersey, albeit in a different level of competition. He had a couple of injuries back to back at the start of the season. He hasn't really been able to get into stride until now, he feels, but he certainly has started this game well, as have Dundee generally, as Ross clears up towards the halfway line. Silla gets his head to it. Hoylett then likewise. In steps Donnelly, just knocks it forward. Cameron collects, but he's robbed by Shinnie. Shinnie will come forward and then knock it out to the left hand side, asking McKenzie to start galloping forward, which he does gleefully. Down that left flank he goes. He's well matched, to be fair, by Costello, who is doing the defensive side well on that occasion, and much to the delight of the home fans, who applaud the winger as Main, though, tries to flick the ball on. It was a rather ambitious effort that from Curtis Main to find Luke McCowan, and Aberdeen have possession back. 14 played, no goals as yet, but Dundee passing up at least a couple of chances to make their superiority in these early exchanges tell.
I think, you know, what you're asking your striker there to do, and he doesn't do it. You know, it's a rather frivolous kind of a wave with the right foot to try and flick it on, is to keep possession. You know, and it was easy to keep possession there, or maybe open up his boot and bring another player into the action. So Curtis Main, I think he's been really poor in the opening exchanges here. He's had a couple of opportunities and hasn't really added much to the team so far anyway.
Yeah, well, hold-up plays pretty much his forte, isn't it? It's goal scoring perhaps less so, as Jamie McGrath's waved to his feet by Stephen McLean as he looked for a free kick. Dundee have possession through Portales and out to Costello on the halfway line, right-hand side. Quarter of an hour gone. Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0, as Dundee have it right-hand side, and Costello will be beaten to that by McKenzie, who hammers it out of the park over on the far side, about 20 yards from the corner flag, as Dundee come forward down the right hand side. They'll have a throw in, which Shaughnessy is going to come across and use his long throw in, you would imagine, into the penalty area to try and cause a few more problems for an Aberdeen defence. Really, I was noticing that Keller Ross, he hasn't kept a clean sheet in the last 11 matches in all competitions, and I think only 7 all told this season, which clearly shows you the root of one of their problems. Here's Shaughnessy lining up this long throw in, then into the 6-yard box it comes. Dundee trying to make something of it. Hoylett gets it high in the air, but back into his own 6-yard box. Gartman helps him out, nods it out to this near side, the Dundee left, and Cameron will just leave this as well. And it's going to be Donnelly to take this one.
It wasn't Shaughnessy's best long throw, though, was it? It seemed to slip out his hands there. It wasn't the normal kind of a driven throw-in that he's capable of.
This one, this throw-in's taken. Cameron gets the ball into the box. It's headed away by Shinnie, but Dundee have picked up once more. Donnelly forward, rather hopeful ball, but Silla will give chase. Looked like he just caught McGrath there. Oh, well, McGrath certainly stumbled. It seemed that Silla had just clipped his heel accidentally, but McGrath ended up knocking it behind, and the corner's been given. And well, Aberdeen, if this leads to a goal, will not be happy. But Jamie McGrath not making too much of it. In fairness, I thought he was clipped, but it'll be Tiffany then to take the corner kick from the left-hand side. 17 minutes gone. Dundee looking for an opening goal here, having been on the front foot for the most part in the early stages. Packed 6-yard box, lots of players round about Keller Ross, as Tiffany, who's got a good delivery on him, prepares to swing this in. You imagine this is going to go right on top of the goalkeeper. He goes to the back post. Shaughnessy's peeled away, but it's Phillips who gets his head to it, and Donnelly will just see that behind. And there'll be another corner out on the far side. This time it's certainly the Dundee players are putting a lot of pressure around the Aberdeen keeper, Billy.
It's just a mob, isn't it? They're mob-handed in front of Keller Ross. you know, the referee Stephen McLean goes over and has a word with him. It makes no difference whatsoever. You know, no difference. It's just, look, I mean, they're grappling each other, you know, right in front of Kel Roos, just trying to put the goalkeeper off. The referee will have another word with them. It'll make no difference whatsoever. They'll go back and they'll just go through it all again.
Yeah, well, it's Shaughnessy certainly that's been spoken to, and McDonald, isn't it, of Aberdeen, to the taller players in that 6-yard box. But there's, you know, Dundee are trying to move around, but while at the same time swarming Kel Roos, putting him under pressure. I mean, we were just talking about, he hasn't been altogether happy this season. I mean, they're so close to him. It's incredible. Anyway, here's the in-swinger, and it's wasted. It's all the way behind from Dodgson, and what a waste for Dundee as they try to make something of that set piece. And it will simply be an Aberdeen goal kick. 18 minutes played, Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0.
Hugely disappointing. You know, after all the drama in front of the Aberdeen goalkeeper, you know, you've got to make sure that the delivery is going to test the Aberdeen defence. You know, it's just a dreadful curler with the left foot, and it goes out the park at the back post. So I think Tony Docherty saw him out with his pencil there in his notebook. That will just be to remind them to give the left wing back a bit of a, or the right wing back a bit of a roasting at half time, I would imagine.
90 minutes played. Remember Ross County against Hibs. We've got John Robertson there. He'll keep us up to date with any major incidents. Still goalless in that one as McCowan helps it forward. Tiffany nods it on, but just straight through to Kel Roos. And the game really yet to spark into life, but Dundee certainly having the more of the attacking play, more of the possession. And Mijanowski with a half chance at the other end eventually fell to Phillips, whose shot was blocked wide. But otherwise Aberdeen haven't really offered much in an attacking sense, as it's knocked up towards Mijanowski now, though. Silla challenges him and it breaks to Shaughnessy, who knocks it forward. Mackenzie down to his captain Shinnie, then back to Mackenzie. Forward it goes. Aberdeen haven't got into any sort of rhythm that they did manage to find against Kilmarnock, and it's clipped forward by Dundee down the right hand side. Tiffany can't get there. Shinnie picks up possession under pressure from Costello, but he manages to knock it down the left a little bit, but then out of play, and it will be a Dundee throw in. 20 minutes played, no goals.
Yeah, Aberdeen really struggling at this moment in time. Dundee, you know, full of energy, pressing them very high up every time they get the ball. The Dons, there's no time to, you know, get their head up and look to make the pass. And so far, it's everything's been about Dundee. The tempo that they've got, the pace they've got, the energy that they've got as well. And if you factor in the directness too, and some of these crosses into the box, then I think Aberdeen are rather fortunate that they're not down in this game.
Here's Main, he's got the better initially of Devlin, then cuts it across goal. Cameron slides in, Ross manages to smother it at the second attempt. Well, he was a little bit hesitant in going for it, but credit to the goalkeeper, he was brave in the end to keep it out as Cameron slid in, and he's hurt himself, as has Cameron, in the process. But again, it's another big opportunity as Main slid it across the goal. Cameron slid in, but Ross was able to keep it out. It remains Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0.
He did well, didn't he, the Aberdeen goalkeeper there? Had to be brave. He goes down low, he smothers the ball as Cameron comes in. And Cameron gets there first, you know, so he's got to make the save. Curtis Main does extremely well on this occasion down that left-hand side with the left foot, curls one across the face. Some really good crosses from Dundee, causing Aberdeen all sorts of problems. And, you know, they were thankful that their goalkeeper was at hand there to manage to smother that one.
Aberdeen have won just 3 of their 14 away from home in the Premiership this season, drawing 3 and losing 8, and in that run of 10 without a victory in the league overall, it's drawn 5, lost 5 since a 3-0 win at Ross County. That was on the 2nd of January. They haven't won in the league since then. It's an atrocious run, you'd have to say, for a club of Aberdeen's stature, and one they're looking to put right, or begin to put right this evening, but the early signs are that they'll struggle to do so. They have to do better than what we've seen in the opening quarter of the game, Willie.
Well, you think, you know, at the beginning of the game you try to, you know, make an impression, try to kind of dominate proceedings, and it's the home side that has definitely done that, and Aberdeen are really struggling to find the answers. You know, the formation that Dundee are playing definitely is outwitting the Aberdeen formation, and you know, the fact that the Dons have got that 2 in midfield, then they've been swamped at times with the Dundee 3. So, you know, Peter Levan might be thinking about changing it a little bit, mixing it up a little bit more, bringing maybe McGrath into the midfield area to help out the other 2.
Here's Hoylett though, as Aberdeen tried to make some impression in an attacking sense, but he's thwarted on that left-hand side, and Dundee will try and counter as Cameron batters it forward. Tiffany's made the run. Tiffany just can't quite latch onto it. It's all the way through to Rose. There's a terrific spot from Cameron, ball over the top as Tiffany timed his run, but he just couldn't extend the leg far enough to bring the ball under control, and Ross was able to gather, but again it's Dundee looking the more threatening.
Yeah, you know, it looked as though he was onto it. You know, and it was a great pass forward from Cameron to, you know, try to find Tiffany, and a fabulous run from Tiffany on the shoulder. I think it was McDonald on the shoulder of McDonald, and getting in behind, and if he does control that, he's in on top of Roos, you know, so another well worked opportunity, but you know, the ball just a little bit too far away for Tiffany to take advantage of.
Aberdeen have been bossed in that midfield, as Willie says. Silla and Cameron combining there, and Cameron, who looks very assured, he's obviously played a lot of top team football at the tender age of 21, and he looks a real talent in there, very composed in the ball, and that pass he pinged through for Tiffany was right on the money, but for Tiffany's inability to pull it out of the air. And Aberdeen will have a throw-in about 15 yards away from the corner flag, over on the far side, the left, as they defend. Mackenzie will take this one. Down the left it goes. Aberdeen, I wouldn't say they played with swagger or anything like that at the weekend, really. They looked assured, but they're lacking that assurance this evening so far, as Dundee have had the better of them, but they don't have a goal to show for it, and that's probably the best you can say for Aberdeen right now, as Dodgson tries to go down the left-hand side, well matched by McGrath, who gets it back to Devlin, who plays it forward. Cameron can't control it, Majowski flicks it on, Shaughnessy steps in and does well and manages to get it to Dodgson, and then Donnelly down the left. Cameron will give chase, but beaten to it by Gartenman. Donnelly returns it once more, then Devlin gets his head to it, in goes Silla, then Devlin once more fires it forward. Bit of ping pong just at the moment as Majowski tries to back into Shaughnessy. Silla comes in to help, eventually gets his head to it, and then it's handled by Shinnie in the middle of the park, and it'll be a Dundee free kick to be taken by Luke McCowan just inside his own half. 25 played, no goals here, but Dundee continue to have the better of proceedings so far, and McCracken's going to come all the way up to the halfway line to take this free kick.
Just a two-hand from Shinnie there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you and I watched him race back and vent his fury at the referee on Saturday. He'll be ruining that decision, albeit he should have clearly had a free kick on the edge of the penalty area prior to that, but a player of his experience, being on a booking, should know a lot better. As Hoylett picks up after the Dundee free kick comes to nothing, helps it on, and it's Devlin away across in the left wing just for the moment. Silla though steps in, he's begun to establish himself in that Dundee midfield, and he's playing well this evening, just keeping things tidy. And here come Dundee once more down the left hand side. It's Dodgson up towards the edge of the penalty. He's gone for goal, and it's tipped over, I think, by Kelleros. Stephen McLean agrees as he points for the corner. Well, that was travelling from Dodgson from a fully 25, maybe even 30 yards out. Really got hold of the shot, and might just have been flying in under the crossbar, but for the touch of Kelleros. It remains Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0 after 26 and a half minutes. Dundee corner.
You know, irrespective of whether it's going under, hitting the crossbar, or going over, difficult to say. You can't take the chance, can't you? You know, I think that Roos has got to get the touch on that. It's right over the top of him, but you know, from Dodgson's point of view, it was a magnificent strike down the hill, of course, and it's always liable to fly over the bar.
Short corner this time from Dundee between Tiffany and Dodgson, then sent to the back post, headed back towards goal, but over the top from Donnelly, and another Dundee set piece comes to nothing. And I mean, well, I know you always call these games objectively, but from an Aberdeen point of view, you know, you might not want to
no, I do want to, yes,
but what I'm going to say is that this feels to me like a Dundee a game where they are missing chance after chance, or failing to take opportunities when they come their way, And the longer it goes on that way, the more you feel Aberdeen will go up the other end and snatch one.
No, absolutely. You know, and you watch these games from time to time where the opposition or the home team actually dominate, and you know, it's been a real struggle for Aberdeen, and Dundee have created a number of chances that they should have at least taken perhaps one or two, and Aberdeen can count themselves really fortunate the fact that that's not the case. And you know, Aberdeen are more than capable. McGrath, you know, Majowski, even Hoylett is looking pretty good, although he's not been in the game much. And even Big Phillips, who has been disappointing. He's normally, you know, full of energy, full of running. Haven't seen that from him. But they've been overwhelmed, haven't they? You know, it's just a plain fact that Dundee have been the better game, better team, more energetic, full of energy, very direct with everything that they do, creating chances as well. You know, the manager will be happy with that, but he'll be hugely disappointed that they haven't got a goal or two.
Yeah, they could have been ahead inside just 3 minutes, and Curtis Main failed to turn an opportunity into the net, and since then it's been a similar story with chances coming and going. Devlin takes the throw in for Aberdeen, down the right it goes. Donnelly gets his head to it. McCowan just nods it back to Silla, who tries to fire it forward for Main. Gartenman gets in the way, but it's given away by McDonald, and it's picked up by Costello, who in turn finds Tiffany at the edge of the box. It's Tiffany, he takes the shot on. I think it caught Cameron there and out to the far side, or did come off an Aberdeen defender in the end, as McDonald tried to atone for his error, and it's going to be a Dundee throw-in over on the far side. But Aberdeen causing themselves problems there, Willie.
Yeah, you know, I was saying before the game that Angus McDonald has shown a lot of calmness, but on that occasion he's let himself down. It's a really wayward pass, giving Dundee the opportunity to yet again, you know, drive forward, and the strike is well blocked. Initially I think there was options there, you know, for Tiffany. You know, you had Cameron and you had Main as well that you could have maybe slipped in.
Shaughnessy's long throw in from the right hand side, knocked away by Phillips. Cameron will go and gather for Dundee, plays it back to Shaughnessy. He's quickly closed down by Phillips, but McCowan spins away from Majowski beautifully, then tries to find Tiffany, can't do so, and McKenzie will try and lead an Aberdeen counter. Majowski can't link with him though. Good backtracking from McCowan, who's in an excellent season in that central midfield role, really excelled in a position we hadn't really seen him in prior to this season, but Tony Docherty's got the best of him in it as Silla tries to come down the left hand side. He and Main managing to keep possession under significant pressure, and then Main finds Cameron coming forward. Cameron up to the edge of the penalty area, tries to take it on his left, couple of yards wide of the left hand post of Kelleros in the half-hour mark. Still no goals, but Dundee very much knocking on the door.
Aberdeen getting a roasting. I mean, basically that's the story so far. You know, after half an hour or so, you know, they haven't been in the game, they've had no impact, they've had no control of the game. You know, whenever they get the ball, they give it away, but they give it away because of the press that Dundee, the energy, the work rate, you know, that the home side are showing, and that they're fortunate to still be in this game. It could be pretty much beyond them, but they need more. They need to, you know, you've got Shinnie out there, he's got to show some leadership qualities, but the other players as well have got to show more courage and you know, more determination to take part in this game.
Well, Dundee themselves haven't won in their last three, a draw and a couple of defeats since a 2-0 win here against Ross County. But Tony Docherty talking to Tyrone pre-match about the time they've been able to spend on the training ground in the last week or so without a Scottish Cup quarter-final to get in the way, and it looks like whatever they've been working on, well, it's paying dividends so far, apart from maybe the finishing.
Yeah, I think they've obviously been working on, you know, the closing down aspect of it, winning the ball back early and being positive and everything being on the front foot and forward thinking. You know, as I say that, it's the first pass back of the game, I believe, from Dundee, but no, they've been good. They've been more than pleased with the first half hour.
Cameron's done well as he turns away from Mackenzie and drives his side forward. Now finds McCowan. McCowan takes the shot on, blocked by Gartman. It'll come for Tiffany again, blocked by Gartman. Still the chance might be there. Aberdeen defending for their lives here, and they've got themselves a free kick inside the penalty area for the challenge ultimately by Tiffany. As McDonald it was in the end who got the final block in, but they're having to put bodies on the line in there. Desperation in terms of the defending there, but Dundee once again passing up another opportunity.
It's brilliant though. You know, Lyle Cameron, he gets the ball, he's got it under control, he's going at pace. you know, he's got huge gaps there to just run into. You know, he has the strike. Tiffany then has a strike. Aberdeen are desperately defending, throwing bodies at it. Yeah, it's good from that point of view, but they've been totally dominated. It's a hugely disappointing performance from them, but a very upbeat performance from the Dens Park side.
It certainly has been. Conor Barron trying to inject a bit of energy into Aberdeen, but he's lost out, and now Tiffany having to try and check back. Barron steps in once more. Did he knock the ball out of play? No, it's still in. And then McCowan knocks it down the left hand side. Garterman put under pressure by Main, but does get the ball down the right channel. Headed away by Donnelly. Comes back to Garterman, who just plays the short ball into McDonald. The Aberdeen fans who've travelled in there, oh, definitely 2,000 or 3,000, I think, in the stand away to the left of us, will be disappointed what they've seen, especially after Saturday's showing, when they were just begun to feel a kernel of positivity after such a poor run, and have come here in genuine hope that that would continue. But the early signs are, despite the fact that it's still goalless, that it could be another defeat on the cards for them unless they buck up their ideas. As Costello, though, comes forward for Dundee, trying to get the better of McKenzie. Gets to the byline. McKenzie blocks the attempted cross. It will be a Dundee corner over on the far side. We've got 11 minutes left in this opening period. It's still Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0.
They're not getting a minute to think, Aberdeen, are they? You know, Dundee, everything is forward, everything is positive, and it's all at pace as well, and Aberdeen really struggling to cope with it. McKenzie eventually doing well against Costello down that the Aberdeen left hand side there, but you know, they just haven't taken part of this game. You know, they need to try and get some kind of a hold of the ball, some kind of a domination, even if it's just for a period of time.
Dodgson will try again from the right hand side after his poor effort earlier in the game. It's a slightly less packed 6-yard box. The Dundee have tried a different corner kick. It's Cameron who sends it in from a different angle at the edge of the box. That one doesn't work either. If they've been working on their set pieces in the last week or so, they haven't really come off thus far, albeit they've tried a variety of different ones. Dundee will come again though. Donnelly, though, beaten in the air by Devlin. Here's the Aberdeen counter, led by McGrath, crossing the halfway line. Devlin powering forward down the right, but McGrath's gone inside and now finds Shinnie at the edge of the box. Turns one way then the other out to the left for Hoylett, still inside the penalty area. Turns it across goal, headed away by Portales. Comes to McGrath at the edge of the box. He stands in the ball but manages to work it back to Barron. It's knocked away. Dundee fans claim for a foul. Couldn't see what that was for because of one of the stanchions in the stand, but it will be a throw. And Tony Docherty's furious about whatever that was as well, but
yeah, that was a push. It was a push, but you see it all the time in the modern game, and the defender usually gets away with it. It's right in front of Tony as well. Are you adopting that Spency stanchion in front? Yeah.
Any excuse really will work for me.
I'll tell you, as it's been I've had issues with it in the past as well.
Again, we'll hope that that won't be an issue when Dundee move to their brand spanking new stadium in a couple of seasons' time. It's going to be an Aberdeen throw-in now, just in front of Tony Docherty's dugout, away to our right-hand side, about more or less midway inside the Dundee half. Right-hand side is Aberdeen attack, and they've not been doing too much of that in the course of the opening 36 minutes. But they still are level in the game, as are Ross County and Hibs. We haven't heard from John Robertson. I can only assume there's very little happening, but we will get an update from him, certainly at half-time, if not before. Depending on how things go, as that Aberdeen throw comes to nothing, but Devlin will get another chance to knock it into a dangerous area. Hoylett picks up after Cameron fails to clear and picks out Devlin on the right hand side. Devlin with a touch and then tries to cross it. Comes off Silla behind for a corner. Better from Aberdeen as the visiting fans get someone to cheer, and they'll try and offer a threat here from the corner kick on the right hand side with about 8.5 minutes left of the first period. Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0 as Shinnie trots across to take this. Hoylett also in close attendance if he wants to go for the short option. McDonald takes a place alongside John McCracken in the 6-yard box. Otherwise, Aberdeen players grouped around the penalty spot as Shinnie nudges it to Hoylett. He was quickly closed down by McCowan, and it's out for a throw-in this time. Neither side's set pieces really coming to anything thus far.
Yeah, I think Dundee set piece has been better though, because you know they've managed to isolate you know, a player It's the problem they've had is the quality of the cross into the box. You know, from an Aberdeen point of view, I thought that was defended extremely well. I didn't really think it was on actually to play the short one anyway. I think get it into the box and at least give the Aberdeen travelling support something to get excited about.
Yeah, well, Gartman will try and do that with a long throw in here from the right hand side, and it comes to the penalty area. Shaughnessy goes up and rather fortuitously perhaps heads it back to his own goalkeeper from about 8 or 10 yards from goal, and it's duly thumped downfield for Tiffany. Tiffany's latched onto this. Devlin's with him, forces him out to the right hand side. Out of the penalty area now, Costello in support, so too Cameron. Cameron picks up possession, back to Portales, just inside the Aberdeen half. Cameron once more down the right hand side. Costello in a bit of space, low cross-ins, not a great one. Devlin's there to knock it away. Hoylett picks up, turns away from Portales. Good skill from Hoylett, good hold up play. Midway inside his own half still though, but tries to play it over the top of Portales there for Majowski. Doesn't succeed, and the defender nods it down, and Silla plays it to his left hand side. The Dundee fans, I think the sense you get around the stadium is that they're enjoying what they're seeing in this first half, but of course they would far more enjoy home goal to cheer before the half-time whistle blows, as McCracken again knocks it long. Main was just blocked off there. He complains to the referee, but he wasn't going to get on the end of it, and it's all the way through to Ross, who gets it moving to Devlin, moving up towards the halfway line. 6 minutes left in this opening period. Gartman clips it out to the left hand side for Mackenzie. Mackenzie takes a couple of touches and then knocks it onto Hoylett on that left touchline. Comes away from Costello. He tries to challenge him, but Hoylett's got the ball beyond him, and it's picked up there by Phillips, left hand side of the penalty. They're back with Mackenzie, and then Hoylett once more, still on the left hand side. McCowan trying to close down, so too Costello. It's Mackenzie. Back the way he goes to McDonald, midway inside the Dundee half, tries to fizz a ball in, but Hoylett gets in the way and he can't bring it under control, and Dundee will look to break. Out to the left hand side it comes to the ever willing runner Tiffany. Tiffany waiting for support arriving in the shape of Dodgson, who goes on the overlap. Tiffany comes in field now, tries to play it beyond McGrath. McGrath read it and he pinches the ball off him, and that was disappointing from a Dundee perspective. And Aberdeen able to build down the left hand side once more. Mackenzie for Hoylett, just getting a little bit more stretched right now as Hoylett runs at Portales up towards the edge of the penalty area. Portales stands up well and just intercepts it as Hoylett tried to put it beyond him, and good defending there, you'd have to say, from the Mexican.
It was, wasn't it? You know, because he's aware of Hoylett's pace, you know, and he's got to go back to park himself, but he's got to pick his time to make the challenge, and it was you know, spot on with that challenge.
Well, there's been a goal in Dingwall. Just give us 1 second and we'll just see this Dundee attack out as McCowan picks out Cameron now out to the right hand side for Costello. Into the box it comes. Gartman gets his head to it, might come for Cameron, nods it down. It's Cameron with the effort, just wide. It was nodded down by McCowan actually for Cameron, who swung the left boot at it, and that couldn't have missed by much as Kelleros stood rooted to the spot, watched it fly by the post. It remains goalless here, but who's got the goal in Dingwall? John Robertson.
It's gone to the home side here. There was nothing much in the game at all. Neither team really looked like they could score, but this time Simon Murray went down the left. He's whipped a cross in there. David Marshall's come. Unfortunately, under pressure from a defender, he's flapped at the ball. It's dropped to Josh Sims here. The simplest of tasks to knock it into the net. 43 minutes gone. Ross County 1, Hibernian 0.
Thanks, John. Well, still goalless here somehow. Dundee have had a raft of chances, and Cameron there from about 12 yards perhaps, just swinging the left boot at it, and it really didn't look like it went far wide as Main tries to cause some problems there against Garteman, who slides in and knocks it out of play. A good tussle between those two, neither willing to give that one up. Main claims his shirt was being pulled, but it will be a throw-in to Dundee. 3 and a bit minutes left of this first half, and well, Aberdeen can thank the lucky stars, really. They're still level.
It's been really good from the home side. You know, you come here as a home fan, you must be delighted with that performance, the energy that they're showing, the directness they're showing. The only thing that's missing is a goal.
Could come here as Gartman or McDonald manages to get the clearance in from Dodgson's delivery from the left hand side. Again, it's Aberdeen on the defensive inside their own penalty. Another throw in about to come here from Donnelly. Looks like he's trying to line up a long one himself. 43 minutes in. Donnelly's long throw into the penalty area. Silla's up there, but Phillips gets first contact on it. Shinnie helps it out of the penalty area, and Hoylett will give chase. Costello trying to put pressure on him. Hoylett with a little bit of skill tries to move away from Costello, and Dundee managed to win it back. Going back the way though, perhaps didn't need to, all the way back to McCracken inside his own penalty area. Chased down by Majowski, takes a chance, but a good bit of skill there from the keeper, and gets it back to Lyle Cameron, who will then try and fire it out to the left hand side to Dodgson, who's in a lot of space. A couple of minutes left in this opening half. Peter Leven trying to get instructions on to his team, trying to keep them organised as the half-time whistle approaches. You just want to get them in at half-time, I think, and try and regroup, try and reorganise, because they've offered precious little in an attacking sense in this first half. It's Dundee in possession through Dodgson, just lifts it down the line. Donnelly's in a good position, tries to move into the penalty area, has done. He tries to get it across goal, and Rose gets a glove to it and pushes it over the crossbar. I'm not sure he was going for goal as such, Donnelly, but it almost ended up in a decent effort, and Rose tips it over, and another Dundee corner.
Yeah, almost loops in at the back post as well, doesn't it? Just lands in the back of the net. Donnelly again, they're exposing Aberdeen in the wide areas. Aberdeen players not really thinking and covering, and just loads of space in behind them, and Donnelly being prepared to take that on and taking on Barron and hitting the byline, and it's meant for a cross, isn't it? It ends up being a shot, and Roos eventually just touches it over. Short
corner taken from the left hand side, swung in by Dodgson. Eventually it'll come back to him from Shinnie's header. Tiffany trying to stay onside, he picks up possession. Shinnie's there again to just knock it away. Dundee unable to profit from their dominance in the first half. Phillips gets his head to the ball at the edge of the box. Portales for Costello on that right hand side. He's won his side. Another corner, 30 seconds left in the opening 45 here with the fourth official Ian Snedden ready with the board in the next few seconds to show us how much added on time there will be. I don't think there'll be too much. There haven't been many stoppages of any note, so this could be Dundee's last chance to have something to show for their overall dominance of the first period. Peter Leven pointing to his head as if to say just stay concentrated for the final few seconds as Dodgson swings it in. McGrath gets his head to inside the 6-yard box, comes out to this left hand side. It'll be left to run out for a throw in, 1 minute to be added on. We're into that now as Portales leaves us for another Donnelly long throw in. Dundee looking to have an advantage to take in at the interval. Donnelly from the left hand side lining up the long throw in, and it comes to the edge of the 6-yard box. And it's McDonald that time, and then Garterman, and just trying to keep it in play. I see it out of play almost, as Shaughnessy managed to keep it in play but only succeeded in knocking it into Kelleros's arms, and that should be pretty much that for the first half action. A first half that Dundee have dominated, have had the better chances, but haven't made them pay, crucially. Still 0-0 then, as the ball was knocked forward by Kelleros. And there is the half-time whistle, and a few boos ring out. Can't quite tell who they are from. If they're from the Aberdeen fans, you might well understand for the performance that their side has put in. They've barely mustered an attack worthy of the name in the first 45, whereas Dundee have had numerous half-decent chances, maybe not too much in a clear-cut sense, although Curtis Wayne will be pretty much the only man inside the ground who knows how he failed to turn a close-range opportunity in after 3 minutes when Tiffany's shot was parried out to him by Kelleros, but somehow the striker could not turn it into the net. Then main turn provider midway through the first period as Lyle Cameron slid in to try and get on the end of his cross. On that occasion, Ross was able to smother bravely. 6 minutes later, there was a Dodgson pile driver tipped over by Ross when it might just have been dipping under the crossbar. And then 4 minutes before the interval, Lyle Cameron from inside the box swung a left foot effort narrowly wide, it appeared, of Kelleros's left hand post. All of the opportunities in this first period really have come Dundee's way early on. Majowski was crowded out, as was the Phillips shot that was eventually fired towards the Dundee goal, but otherwise Aberdeen have offered very little, and so unfortunately for Dundee, you would have to say the half-time scoreline at Dens Park is Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0.
On digital radio,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
There's no substitute. Previously in the Europa League.
Blasted across, chance! Rangers score!
This Rangers team, when they've played in Europe, they always carry a threat.
It finished here in Lisbon. Benfica 2, Rangers 2.
Yes, an absolutely superb result for Philippe Coman's side.
Now, Rangers will be hoping to get the job done at Ibrox and reach the quarter-finals of the competition.
I can only ask for my players to give their best.
European football lives here. Sports Sound, Rangers versus Benfica. Tomorrow from 5 on digital radio, or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
Yeah, more live action coming up on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland tomorrow, early evening, as you heard there. 5 o'clock start for Sportsound. Rangers against Benfica. Half times in the Premiership tonight. Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0, Ross County 1, Hibernian 0. In the English Premier League, Bournemouth 0, Luton Town 3. And in the Champions League playoff matches, it's Atletico Madrid 1, Inter Milan 1. 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes there. DeMarco for Milan, or for Inter, and Griezmann for Atletico. So it's 2-1 Inter on aggregate there. It's also 2-1 on aggregate in the other tie as well. Dortmund 1-0 up tonight against PSV Eindhoven. 2-1 overall. We will reflect on the opening 45 minutes. We brought you live here at Dens Park, but let's get news of the encounter in Dingwall. It is right now a very, very good scoreline for the home side, John Robertson.
It certainly is, Richard, and to be honest, I thought we were meandering to half-time 0-0, because what we said at the start of the show was how were the tactics going to work. The 4-3-3 of Hibs against the 3-5-2 of County, and early on County's very direct style nearly paid off. The ball was played in behind, Murray went through, he had a shot blocked by Obita, it fell to Laturi. He had a shot blocked on the 6-yard line, and that was about it. And there was nothing really much after that until Obita header from a deep cross straight at the keeper from about 7 yards. Hibs then lost Lewis Miller to injury. He was replaced by Chris Cadden as Hibs continued to play the 4-3-3. And then it was Levitt who had to get back quickly. Ross County broke on Hibs from a corner, and it looked like a 3-1, and as the ball was played through by Sims, Levitt managed to slide in and knock it back to David Marshall. 2 minutes later, Triantis smashed one just wide from 20 yards, and then Hibs' best chance in the first half. Maeda broke through, his shot was parried out by Wickens. It came to Chris Cadden, he smashed a shot on, the keeper got up, managed to get across and block it there. As I said, we looked like we were going into the break half time, then just 2 minutes before the interval, Simon Murray went down the left wing, he cut back his right foot, he whipped in a cross, which Eamon Brophy and Jordan Obita were both going for. David Marshall decided to come for it, and all three seemed to take their eye off it, and Marshall flapped at the ball, and who was there but Josh Sims, just to tap the ball into the empty net from 6 yards to give Ross County the lead. It's County 1, Hibs 0.
And John, it's you talked about it beforehand, the importance of both these fixtures. It's going to have a big bearing both in terms of Dundee and Hibs, and whichever of those is going to finish the night on top, but also County, as things stand, live table within 2 points of both St Johnstone and Aberdeen.
Yeah, and that's what we said that at the top, you know, that it was a snakes and ladders evening for who could get their noses in front, and certainly as it stands, Ross County will be desperate for Dundee to, from what sounds like a dominant first half display, to get that goal and allow them to drag Aberdeen into that bottom six playoff spot. Whereas, as you say, Hibs fans will want to get a result and then hope that Aberdeen at least stay level with Dundee to stay in the top six. And to be fair, Hibs have played the more concise and easier night football. They've passed it about, they've knocked it about, they've tried to open up Ross County here, but I've got to say they're missing a focal point. Marcondes, you can see he's a good player with good touches, but he's playing more as a false nine. He's dropping in, he's obviously a genuine number 10. You can see how he wants to play in that area in little pockets in front, but unfortunately Melina and Johan are staying out wide, so there's nobody getting beyond. They're not turning Ross County anyway, and you know, for me it would seem sensible that Adam Lafondra would come in at some stage because he's a natural striker, or maybe stick Johan through the middle because they're just lacking penetration. As I say, very easy in the eye, very nice football, but apart from once when they went behind for Maouda to go through and have his shot saved, they've not caused County enough problems in the last third. County, by opposite, have been very direct. They've knocked it in the channels for Brophy and Murray, who are running willing runners. To be fair, Fish and Bushiri have coped with them pretty well, as is Zabita. I genuinely thought we were going to be similar at Dens Park coming into the interval 0-0, but as I said, you'll see it on the highlights tonight. The ball was whipped in. It was one of those ones. Marshall came, stopped, came again, and by the time he got there it was too late. He just flapped it down to Sims and he tapped it in, and it was a huge roar from the County fans because they know just how vital this game is.
Sports Scene tonight, 10:40 on BBC One Scotland. You see the highlights of both these matches, and what the viewers will see at least part of, Willie, is just an outstanding first 45 minutes from the home team, who have played some absolutely delightful football, haven't they?
It's been really good from Dundee. You know, I can only imagine the thoughts going through Tony Docherty's head. He'll be absolutely delighted with the performance, but he'll be so frustrated that they haven't got a goal or two up. Complete domination, I would have to say, in every department. I suppose you could put up a case that Aberdeen have, you know, defended. They've been put under that much pressure that they've defended with not really thinking. It's just about throwing your body in front of the chances that Dundee have created. I'm still bemused why Curtis Main doesn't put that first opportunity.
Well, I tell you, actually, I was going to pick up on that because I had gone down on a mercy mission for Bovrils and pies for myself and Colin, and I was actually coming up at that end of the state, and so directly in line with it. When it comes back off Roos, and again you're thinking, how many times is this going to happen? Curtis Main actually miskicks the ball up onto his own hand, from what I saw, and so even if he'd put the ball in the net, it would have been disallowed, I think. I'm sure that's what happened.
How does he manage that, Richard? I mean, all you have to do is stroke it into the back of the net.
Willie, how long have you been watching Curtis Main?
Into the back of the net.
It comes naturally to Curtis Main, as you know.
Point taken.
I mean, he's one of those players who just keeps getting new clubs, keeps getting new contracts. I think he's averaged about 1 goal in 7 maximum over his career, and yet he still keeps. To be fair to me, he had one lovely bit of play a little bit later when he tricked the defender, put the ball in, and actually Cameron should probably have scored.
Cameron, yeah, it was a good save, right enough. You can always tell. I always think when a striker does it and he starts to limp and he's not been touched, it's a limp through embarrassment of not putting the ball in the back of the net. Listen, Dundee have been brilliant. I think their midfield has been fabulous. Cameron, McEwen.
Silla's just taking a real grip on that, hasn't he? He's the bulwark, if you like, and then the others play off him.
Yeah, and yet Pittodrie was poor in the first half. He was actually subbed at half time, I'm sure he was, but he just sits there, doesn't he? And you know, he mops everything up. Big tall figure, totally dominated. Their midfield three have been excellent, you know, with the energy of the other two, and Silla just being the more defensive partner there. You know, Tiffany's been energetic as well. You know what's really refreshing is that, and since the turn of the year, a lot of teams are being much more direct, Richard, you know, and forgetting about this goal kicks and passing it to centre backs that can't actually pass the ball, and I could never understand why coaches would do that. And it's much more direct, it's much more exciting. Whenever any Dundee player gets the ball, they've eased off maybe in the last 10 minutes and played a few square and a few back, but every thought is to go forward. Every touch is a forward touch. Every time they get an opportunity to take an Aberdeen player on, whether it's a midfield player or a defender, they take them on. You know, and it's just been a brilliant first half performance for Dundee. It's been fabulous. Tony Docherty must be absolutely delighted. Peter Laven, I don't know what he's going to do at half time. I think he should make changes. He's got to. I think the big boy Phillips have done absolutely nothing in the game. I think that would be an area, the midfield area, where they've been run ragged in the midfield. They've got to get, you know, more bodies in there, and bodies with, you know, more energy and more mobility. I just wonder about Shinnie, whether the 2 games you know, in a week is maybe too much for him, because the energy there tonight wasn't the same energy that he showed, you know, at the weekend. So I think half-time, it's a good opportunity for both managers to have a chat with their players. I think as far as Tony's concerned, it's just more of the same. As far as Peter's concerned, he's got to do something to try to stem the flow of being totally dominated. It's been one-way traffic, it's been chance after chance. And as far as he's concerned, he'll be thinking, how did we survive that first 45?
Oh, totally. I mean, one opportunity, if you couldn't call it that. I mean, it was Miovski all the way. I mean, he took on about 4 or 5 Dundee players, had them in the wake and trailing in his wake. And I'm sure Tony Doherty was just hoping that not one of those players would stick a foot in, because he could quite easily have picked up a penalty. And then the ball came back, and it was Phillips, wasn't it? His shot was kind of half blocked and it was out. But literally, that has been it in terms of Aberdeen. I know that there always seems to be a bit of an advantage, or there often seems to be a bit of an advantage here shooting down the slope, as Dundee have been in the second half. But if they come out and play the same sort of football, it's not going to make any difference to them whether they're up the slope or down the slope, to be perfectly honest.
No, I think it's for Aberdeen to lift their game, to up their game, to realise how important this game is. Listen, if Dundee win this game and the result stays the same, you know, up north with Ross County, you're talking real test of character then, you know, with the swing that you're seeing. You know, if that did happen and the pressure really coming on, and the fact that, you know, Aberdeen are dragged into a real battle. Motherwell away next game as well, Richard. You know, the games are pretty quickly running out for Aberdeen to turn their season round. You know, if it's a loss tonight and a victory up in Dingwall, then dearie me, they're in real bother, absolute bother. And you just worry about the temperament, whether they're capable of dealing with that. And I think particularly at home, dealing with it at home, the fact that you're dragged into that playoff position with real danger of that happening, and then the characters tested of the players, and I don't know if they're capable of dealing with it. So it's a big 45 minutes. I think Peter's got to do his magic at half-time, turn this game around somehow and manage to get the 3 points. And of course, the positive side, if they do get the 3 points, then you know, and have to get beat, then they're still looking at top 6.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I just feel there are too many clubs ahead of them, and that between them, those clubs will, 1 or 2 of those clubs will pick up enough points to ensure that they would see if any late challenge. But right now, Aberdeen can't be thinking about that. They're thinking about survival, because they are 2 points clear of the relegation playoff place. And if Dundee come out and play as they did in the first half and take their chances, then that will be down to 1 point. Potentially by the end of the evening. That will also depend on what happens in Dingwall, of course. Aberdeen players are back out. They're back out pretty early. And yeah, I think they're all there. I don't think there's any changes. No. They're all out there. Well, Tony Doherty just having a final few words with his players, who have caught the eye, have been an absolute joy to watch, but have been profligates when it comes to the opportunities. Couple of decent saves from Kelly Roos, and a couple of decent blocks as well. But it has been pretty much one-way traffic in the first 45 minutes. Remember, it is 1-0 for Ross County against Hibernian. Josh Sims, the man who scored in that incredible playoff thriller that brought the halt to last season. He's got third goal of the season. A couple of minutes before the interval there. Ross County 1, Hibernian 0. Goalless here at Dens Park. The players are all back out. Here comes the referee as well. Let's get up and running, shall we, for the second half. It's full live commentary, Sports Sound and BBC Radio Scotland with Willie Miller and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Rich. I'm just looking at something that Liam McLeod has sent me about this game at half-time, which says that Aberdeen's expected goals in that first half was 0.09, which it could be an all-time low, I'm not sure. So for those of you who are into expected goals, I mean, Dundee's is only like 0.58, so it's not that they were running away with it, but Willie, are you a fan of the old expected goals?
I'm wondering what you're talking about, to be perfectly honest, so I'll just leave it at that, yeah.
Right, well, it does give you some indication of how likely they were to score in that first period, and it probably is a fair reflection of what we saw, that their chances of scoring were 0.09 of one goal. Anyway, we're back underway, and no changes to either lineup. Actually, we did think that Aberdeen might make a few switches, but nothing from Peter Leven as yet. So, as you were, as Aberdeen attacking the goal with their fans behind it in this second half. I have to tell you that as Graham Shinney comes forward, and then Barron flicks it to Hoylett. Shaughnessy half clear, but only as far as Devlin. A shot comes in from McGrath, comes back to Barron, and Aberdeen forcing Dundee backwards at the first few seconds of this second half, but they've managed to deal with that. Ball breaks kindly for Shaughnessy at the edge of his own box, and then Donnelly out to Dodgson on the left hand side. He's dispossessed though, and here come Aberdeen again. It's Majowski down the right, up towards the penalty area, tries to play it in with the outside of his left boot, comes off Shaughnessy, and the Aberdeen fans at last to get something to cheer, and they will have a corner, and all of a sudden it's a bit more ragged from Dundee and a bit better from Aberdeen.
They give away possession. Dodgson it was out in the touchline there, you know, and allowing Aberdeen that opportunity. Majowski, I think he can take a little bit more time to make his mind up in that occasion. I think he releases it too early. You know, there was no way past. I think it was Shaughnessy that put it out for the corner, but a better start to the second half.
So here's Shinney's corner from the right hand side, and it comes. McCracken comes in. Well, there's claims that he took the Aberdeen player out. I thought he took enough of the ball there as the ball comes out of the penalty area, but it's going to be stopped now because the Aberdeen player, can't quite see who it is,
it's Gartenman,
prone on the ground inside the 6-yard box, and was certainly, I think, caught as McCracken came off his line, but it didn't seem to me, Willie, as if it should have been a foul, i.e. a penalty, but
no, I think McCracken get plenty of the ball, and I think it's more the fact that Gartenman's come into him, and I think he's come into more or less his chest kind of a height. I don't really think it's a punch from the goalkeeper. It's not a follow through. From where we're sitting here in the stand, it looks as though the goalkeeper's taking it cleanly, and there's been a collision, and you know, Gartenman's taken some kind of a knock to the head, maybe for the shoulder perhaps. So the only surprising thing was that the referee took so long to blow the whistle, you know, because Aberdeen still had the possession, and you know, it was a head knock, and for me it should have been blown right away.
Yeah, that's the norm these days, isn't it? And pretty sure it is Stephen Gartman, as you say. He's just sat up actually inside the 6-yard box, having been treated for a minute or so by the Aberdeen physio and medics. So hopefully he'll be okay to continue, but at least there is a bit of positivity for Aberdeen at the start of this second period. What I was going to say there was, because both you and Richard have referred to it, the slope here at Dens Park, which I once referred to, I think, doing a championship game here on the TV, and it was afterwards sort of accosted by, I can't remember if it was a member of the ground staff, who assured me there is no slope here at Dens Park, despite what you may look like, and certainly there has been over the years, but apparently it doesn't exist anymore. But so
maybe it's the stand that's sloping then.
I suspect that's definitely part of it. But anyhow, I simply report to you what I was told by a member of the staff here, as the game resumes with the ball dropped to Joe Shaughnessy and then knocked back to McCracken. Up the field he goes, but it's out of play. And well, Dundee, for their part, Willie, we'll just hope that they can continue, I guess, the way they were playing in that first period, but of course add goals to the mix as well.
Yeah, it's same energy, you know, same directness, same appetite and attitude. I would suggest it's maybe difficult to continue in the second half. We'll just have to wait and see, but I'm sure Tony Docherty will be hoping and insisting that that's the case, because it was a really good first half performance from them. For Aberdeen, of course, they've got to try and turn it round and show that appetite and that energy that they didn't have in the first half.
As Hoylett caught, there he was by Silla. Silla had slipped and he was on the ground, and he was trying to keep control of the ball, and Hoylett came in on his blind side almost and just about got away with the ball, but Silla brought him to the ground. It's a free kick to Aberdeen in a decent position, and for the first time in the game almost, you hear the Aberdeen fans singing away to our left as they tries to get behind their side and hope that their side can give them something to sing about.
Yeah, you know, it's an important time for Dundee as well. You know, after doing so well in the first half, early in the second, if they were to lose a goal at this stage, then it would be a real test of their character.
It's Hoylett to take it from the left-hand side, just a few yards in from the touchline, about 20 yards from the goal line, and it comes right-footed into the 6-yard box. McCracken punches right all the way back out to Hoylett, who just lets it go for a throw-in. It was a vicious in-swinger, that one from Hoylett, but no one able to get near enough to it before McCracken punched clear.
Dangerous one, yeah, dangerous. Good kind of a hedge height, you know, in between defence attackers and goalkeeper, and McCracken had to deal with it. He did, you know, just with a straightforward punch.
Jimmy Hoylett brought here by Neil Warnock, and you'd have to say he has added something to the Aberdeen squad. Certainly was good at the weekend, and he's in flashes been decent. That free kick was a good delivery. He did describe Neil Warnock while he was still here as a joy to work under, but he's working under him no more. Didn't last long as Dundee get the goal kick. It's 6.5 minutes gone in this second half, still goalless, 1-0 up in Dingwall for Ross County. We'll keep you abreast of any other major incidents in the second half there as well as here, as Donnelly gets his head to the ball and it's knocked forward by McDonald all the way through. That will go to McCracken. He'll just try and see that out of play. He does that safely, although Hoylett was trying to keep it in, and it will be another Dundee goal kick. And you do sense that Aberdeen have, you know, whether it's been a talking to or whatever at half time, that they've upped the ante a little bit, certainly in this in the opening 7 minutes, Willie.
It's certainly been better. You know, looking at their shape, I think, you know, Peter's asked the two forward midfield players, you know, the ones that are sitting in front of Shinnie and Barron, you know, to come in a little bit more, McGrath and Phillips, and almost have a box in midfield to try and give them numbers in there, which seems to have helped them. Tiffany
was caught late there, and it will be a Dundee free kick midway inside the Aberdeen half. It was McDonald who was the aggressor there, and it's a decent position this for a free kick, just right of centre, but an opportunity here for this to be thrown into the Aberdeen penalty area as we still await the opening goal. Dundee haven't really got going in this second period as yet, but this is a chance for either Costello or perhaps more likely Dodgson to swing this in from the right hand side. There's the two wing backs over the dead ball. The Aberdeen players trying to hold the line. Actually, it's going to be Costello who'll swing it in, but Shinnie gets his head to it at the near post, away from the edge of the penalty area, and Costello gets the ball back and goes all the way back to John McCracken at the edge of his box, takes a touch, and before Moyosi can make anything of it, it's out of play. But there's been an early second half goal in Dingwall. Who's it for? John Robertson.
And it's deservedly going to the visitors here. It's Ross County 1, Hibernian 1. Hibs have made that change at half time. Adam Lefondre has come on, and he and Chris Cadden have definitely made a big difference. This time it's a goal kick from Marshall, played up. Malouda brilliantly kept the ball, shrugged off a Ross County defender, played it wide to Yuan. Yuan dragged inside, looked like he was going to try a shot, but he just slipped it back in the middle, and Malouda had kept his run going. He slipped it under Wickens. It's Ross County 1, Hibernian 1.
Thanks, John. One each then in Dingwall, and 0-0 here at Dens between Dundee and Aberdeen, as Cameron forces the ball down the right. Tiffany gets his head to it, knocks it infield. Barron's there, tries to play it back to McDonald, forces him back the way. McDonald does well to just knock it upfield. It's gone out of play though for a Dundee throw-in midway inside the Aberdeen half. A little bit tousy the start to this second half. The home fans trying to rouse their team into action, as they were very impressive in the first period, but without being able to get a goal to show for it, as Cameron picks up on the right hand side. Now Costello, challenged well by Mackenzie, knocks it off Costello, and it will be an Aberdeen throw-in about 15 yards away from their own corner flag on this left hand side. And you'd imagine both sides will contemplate changes relatively early in this second period to try and break the stalemate. Point not a massive help for either cause just at the moment. as the ball's high in the air and Devlin gets his head to it up towards the halfway line. Silla wins it above Phillips, not further forward again by Devlin. Majowski can make nothing of it, and it will come for Costello. Claims for a free kick there by the challenge of Shinnie, but not forthcoming from Stephen McLean, and Aberdeen pick up possession, and neither Tony Docherty nor the Dundee fans round about us exactly delighted with that, as Aberdeen have it at the back. It's Garteman just at the edge of the centre circle inside his own half, clips it out to the left hand side. Way too much of that. Well, he's remonstrating there with Jack McKenzie, but I'm not sure what McKenzie was supposed to have done there.
No. It's always worth a try, though, isn't it? You know, she make a bit of mess of the pass, and it was Jack McKenzie's not getting anywhere near it, but it's much more calmer start to the second half. Certainly from an Aberdeen point of view, they'll be happier with it. They haven't been put under the same amount of pressure as Dundee managed to get them under in the first half.
Devlin forced to slide in to prevent Dodgson latching onto a loose ball. The ball's played forward again, and Dodgson will try and make something of it this time around. Devlin again, his marker. Devlin slides in once more, and it's going to be out for a Dundee throw-in over on the far side. 11.5 minutes gone in this second period. Still no goals as yet. The second half been a more even affair after Dundee dominated the first. And it'll be a long throw-in here from Aaron Donnelly, the left-sided centre-back, preparing to launch this one into the Aberdeen box, and it comes towards the 6-yard area. It's Phillips rising highest to head it out towards the edge of the box. It will come back to Cameron, who'll play it to Donnelly on the left-hand side, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Back in field to the impressive Cameron. Out to the left now, it goes to Dodgson and back to Donnelly once more. Crosses it first time in. Kelleros is underneath it, no real pressure on him. Grabs that with two hands and then tries to get it upfield. Joe Shaughnessy just impedes him momentarily, and eventually Ross just rolls it out to the right hand side, and Aberdeen will try and build from the back. 12.5 minutes gone in the second half. Dundee 0, Aberdeen 0, as McKenzie rolls it down the line for Hoylett. Gets it back once more and then has to go back the way to his goalkeeper. He'll be closed down by Tiffany. Poor first touch from Ross, and then slices it upfield, and then Costello wins the header above McKenzie, but succeeds only in knocking it out of play. No real pattern, you'd have to say, at the start of this second half.
Nothing really, is there? Dundee seem to be lacking a little bit of that energy and that press that they did so well in the first half. Just a little bit in Aberdeen, the fact that that's not happening, Aberdeen are getting a little bit more time to build things up and control the ball a little bit more and give them a bit more territory.
Hoylett's done well to win it back from McCowan, now drives towards the edge of the penalty area. He'll take the shot on, he didn't get a hold of it at all, but it did take a nick on its way through. There will be an Aberdeen corner.
Well, it's definitely more direct, and Hoylett, who can be direct, he's willing to take players on as well. It's on his left foot there. He swipes at it, he swings the left foot, didn't look particularly confident. I think he was very fortunate at taking a little nick. I think Aberdeen are away to make a change, not too sure who it is.
I think I can see Duke, I think so.
I think I can see the number 11, yes it is, Duke, ready to come on.
Not before the corner from Shinnie, in it comes, and John McCracken takes it under. Absolutely no pressure. And another waste of a set piece, as Shinnie unable to pick out a teammate. Down the right hand side it comes from Costello, but it's gone straight out of play, and an opportunity now then if Aberdeen are ready to make this change. Duke certainly prepared to come on, and indeed he will come on, and it's going to be Junior Hoylett who'll make way. I'm not sure if he's taken a knock, he's not walking off particularly comfortably. Maybe he's just taken a little bit of a knock, but a little bit surprised.
Didn't see anything.
Him that makes way.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't see anything in terms of a knock. It's more or less like for like. With Hoylett coming off and Duke maybe just fresh legs, although there hasn't been that much energy expended out there from the Aberdeen players, I don't think. But anyway, Duke's got that threat. He's direct, he's quick, and I'm sure that Peter Leaven will be hoping that he can be an out ball, just get the ball and get the team up the park a little bit. Although, to be fair, in the second half they haven't been under anywhere near the same amount of pressure that they had to endure the first.
No, they have not, but that's the first change of the evening. An hour gone, and Dundee have a free kick just inside the Aberdeen half. And Lyle Cameron will take this one. Still awaiting the opening goal here after an hour's play. 1-1 it stands in Dingwall between Ross County and Hibs as Cameron plays the free kick square to McCowan. McCowan in towards the back post. Shaughnessy gets his head back into the 6-yard box. Yeah, it looked like a push as Tippery knocks it off the post. And Stephen McLean points for the goal kick. Well, there was bodies everywhere inside the 6-yard box as Shaughnessy got it back across goal, and there certainly looked to be a push in there, but who it was by and who it was on was rather unclear. But VAR, of course, in action and can have a look at that. Chris Graham is the man as we get the attendance of 8,215 inside Dens. A very healthy award. Do you think there's anything in that, Willie?
I thought it was a push, yeah. I mean, I could see a push. Whether the officials think it's enough of a push, there was definitely contact to award a penalty. They're checking it. Referees get his hand up to his ear. They're waiting on confirmation whether there was enough in it to, to award the penalty or not. But from where I'm sitting, we're quite far away from it. I thought I saw a push on a Dundee player.
Yeah, well, as it broke to Tiffany, he managed to get the shot in, and it just came off the outside of the post. But it could be a second chance here for Dundee if Stephen McLean is asked to look at this again by Chris Graham, the VAR. There definitely was a lot of shoving inside the penalty area around the 6-yard box, and Chris Graham's having a long look at this, it would appear, as Stephen McLean still asking Kelleros to hold up the goal kick being taken. And will we see that Stephen McLean being asked to come and look at this once more on the monitor down at the halfway line? Still the check goes on. I mean, there's a lot of bodies in there, Willie. I mean,
there was, but player goes to the ground. I could see two hands out. I haven't seen a replay of it, so I can't confirm it, but it looked to me as though there was a push there. But pushing goes on all the time in the box, so maybe the direction is that there wasn't enough to put the player off, or I really don't, and I don't know what's taking so long here, by the way. Is it a handball that they're perhaps checking? Okay. Yeah. Didn't see a handball. No, definitely saw a push. They're certainly checking something, and it's taken an inordinate amount of time again, isn't it? And it just takes us everything out of the game when you have to wait this long for a decision.
It's a good couple of minutes already as Chris Graham, the VAR, tries to make sure. We always feel it's better to be right than quick, but
can you not be both?
He's going to come and look. Yeah, he's made the TV sign, and Stephen McLean is going to come and look now to see what went on inside that penalty area as the ball was hoisted in. Joe Shaughnessy certainly headed it back across goal. It was a well-worked free kick from the right-hand side into the centre. Luke McCowan played it into the penalty area. Joe Shaughnessy rose at the back post to head it back in towards the 6-yard box, and it was in there that looked to us like there was a shove of some sort, but it does appear from what we're hearing, and unfortunately neither William nor myself have a monitor to look at, but it does appear that it's actually a handball that is being checked rather than a push. Jack McKenzie being the player. Stephen McLean's had a look, he's coming back. What's the decision going to be? TV screen sign is made. Penalty kick is awarded. The home fans rise to acclaim the decision from Stephen McLean. Well, it took them a long time. You can decide for yourself tonight on Sports Scene at 10:40 on BBC One Scotland whether they got it right, and you can also see the resultant penalty as Lyle Cameron tries to get the ball off Kelleros, who will now have to face a spot kick, and Dundee with the opportunity after 65 minutes to break the deadlock. This second half has been a bit of a stalemate. First half was all Dundee. They didn't get the goal perhaps their play deserved. Will they get the breakthrough here? We shall see.
Yeah, I'm being told that the time it took, they were checking to see if Shaughnessy was offside in the build up to it. That's why it took so long. Whether it was a handball, whether it was a push, it's irrelevant really. the penalty has been given.
Well, it's Luke McCowan who has grabbed the ball now, and Kelleros just getting a bit of a talking to from Stephen McLean, just telling him exactly what's expected of him. But it will be Luke McCowan to step up to try and beat Kelleros from the spot. This could be a huge goal for all sorts of reasons. Luke McCowan stands and awaits Stephen McLean's whistle. Kelleros crouching on his goal line, all in yellow. Can he do the business? Up steps McCowan, left-footed, scores! Kelleros goes the wrong way. Luke McCowan sends it away to his right. Kelleros dived to his right, and it was in the back of the net. Terrific strike from McCowan. And on the balance of play overall, after 66 minutes, you'd have to say it's deserved. It's Dundee 1, Aberdeen 0.
No danger with that one, was it? It was quite a sensational penalty kick from McCowan with the left foot. He had to wait a little bit. It was cool, it was calm, and he put the laces through it. The instep, towards his right-hand side, nestling in the side net and inside the net. It's a brilliant penalty kick, and you're right, Dundee definitely deserved to be in the lead. And now there's a big question over Aberdeen. Can they turn this round? Started the second half well, but they've got to be better at it.
Well, I've just been sent a clip of this, Willis. I'll let you watch that and have a...
Yeah, it's an arm ball. It's Jack McKenzie, actually, that goes up for the ball. It comes over. It hits his... It's one of these penalties, one of these handballs that's been given constantly throughout the season. There's no intent in it. It's purely accidental. He goes up. He doesn't make contact with the head. It drops. It comes off his arm, and when you see it in slow motion there, then the likelihood is that the referee is going to have to give it, and he did give it.
Yeah, well, we often hear calls for consistency, and you'd have to say that in terms of other handballs that have been given, as you say, Willie, it is one, the arm is outstretched, albeit he's leaning into one of the Dundee players.
He's pushing him as well.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? He goes up and he's pushed him, and the motion of him pushing Costello, I think it was, has exposed his arm, and the ball's hit his arm.
Here is Costello at the edge of the box, finds McCowan, who's just notched his 8th goal of the season. It might yet break for McCowan inside the penalty area. Eventually Aberdeen managed to scramble it clear. That was untidy, but they have got it clear, and Phillips tried to release Majowski. There's a Dundee player in the way as the counter was thwarted. Aberdeen try to come forward down the right hand side, knocked out of play by Dodgson to prevent Devlin making any real headway, and Aberdeen have it all to do. They started the second half certainly better than they played throughout the first, but they do find themselves now trailing by Luke McCowan's 8th goal of this season to 0, and they haven't shown all that much in the game thus far to suggest that they can penetrate the Dundee defence. Here's McCowan once more trying to release Tiffany over on the far side, the Dundee right. McKenzie goes back there, the man who was penalised for the handball, but it's out for a throw-in to Aberdeen, and Phillips now making some ground down the left-hand side, looking to get away from Portales. Cross takes a deflection, but it's still over Majowski, and off his line comes McCracken to grab that one, and the danger is over for the moment, and Dundee lead by a goal to 0.
And it's a big response that's required from Aberdeen. As far as Dundee's concerned, then there'll probably be a bit of relief that he got the nod on that occasion, with the penalty, but it was a brilliant penalty, from McCowan. It was quite a sensational strike, under pressure obviously, but he hit it sweet, and it certainly almost took the net off with the power that it had as it went into the far corner.
Yeah, as I was saying in the first period, he's been terrific. Started every single game in the league except for the previous game against Aberdeen. That was after the red against Livingston, but he's been a top performer for Dundee as Aberdeen win themselves a free kick just inside the Dundee half, left hand side. McKenzie will take it. They've got 20 minutes to find an equaliser. I think Duke was offside as that ball was played down the flank. The flag stays down, at least for the moment, as Duke tries to make something of it up against Costello and Cameron. He still has it. Eventually the flag has gone up, and my initial suspicions were confirmed there, and Dundee will have the free kick deep inside their own half. Leighton Clarkson's going to come on here for Killian Phillips, who again, well, he was good on Saturday. I know he's a player that actually Tony Docherty tried to bring to Dundee back in the summer, failed to do so, but he hasn't really impressed this evening. Clarkson's a different type of player altogether.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you're searching for a little bit of control in there. Phillips is all energy. You know, he runs about, puts himself about, closes people down. You know, he's a big unit as well. But he just hasn't done it this evening. Maybe it's a fitness thing. You know, he hasn't played too many games for Aberdeen. That could possibly be the case. I'm not surprised at that change. I thought it might have been made at half-time. But you've got to get players on that can, hopefully, from an Aberdeen point of view, give you a little bit of control in the midfield area. And if Dundee, you know, kind of lose the impetus, then Clarkson can do it.
There's a chance over Cameron, flashes it just wide. He's taken out as he got the shot off, but the shot had already gone, and it had already gone wide as Tiffany played Cameron in from the right hand side. Cameron onto it in a flash, but sent the shot across the face of goal and a couple of yards wide of Kelarus's right hand post, and that was a big chance again for Dundee, arguably to put the game beyond Aberdeen already.
Yeah, he just didn't catch it, did he? You know, it was a very good ball from Tiffany. He's under pressure, Cameron. There's an Aberdeen defender with him. You know, and he's just tried to, you know, guide it towards the back post, and it's come off his kind of inside his foot. There wasn't an awful lot of power behind it in the direction, and it was always going to curl away for the back post as well. So another opportunity for Dundee, but you know, always looked as though it was going to go past the goal.
Well, the win against Kilmarnock on Saturday was their first in 6, Aberdeen, since the win against Bonnyrigg Rose. If they fail to win tonight, it'll be 11 league games without a victory. At the moment, they are heading for defeat. Lyle Cameron has been terrific in the middle of the park. Again, does well to find Tiffany, and now it's Costello taking it on up to the edge of the box. He's done brilliantly. His shot takes a deflection, and that allows Rose to gather. But brilliant work from Dundee again, Willie. That goal is clearly re-energised and given them the confidence again. And Cameron, Tiffany, and then Costello combining there almost to really good effect.
They're showing you know, a lot of intricate footwork as well, a lot of nice little neat passes, but when it's on and they see a gap that they can exploit, then, you know, they're only too happy to go forward really early and drive with pace and commit defenders. So, you know, they're back on song again. That goal certainly has helped them. It's lifted them again. They looked a little bit down at the beginning of the second half. I think because they put so much into the first half that you maybe should expect that, but I think they're re-energised, and you know, if they can find that energy for the rest of the game, then this could be a great night for them.
There's 4 goals in 6 actually for Luke McCowan, including a penalty as well against Kilmarnock in the last game, and he certainly dispatched that one this evening with aplomb. And at the moment, that's the goal that separates the sides. 1-1, remember, in Dingwall. Josh Sims in the first half, Maulida in the second, equalising for Hibs. As Clarkson gets a first touch and knocks it on to fellow substitute Duke on the left-hand side, up against Silla, who has dispossessed him and then slides in to complete the job. And out of play for an Aberdeen throw, and he has been really good in the middle of the park. Silla really established himself, taking over really that role from Malachi Boateng, who was the midfield workhorse in the first half of the season. Here's Clarkson, left-hand side for Aberdeen as they look for a leveller. Forced back the way though by his opposite number, Lyle Cameron. The 2 number 10s in the middle of the park. Here's Clarkson once more, trying to lift it down the right-hand side to create something for Aberdeen. Dundee haven't quite managed to clear the lines as yet. Out of the box it comes now though, and then the Kirk's men play that off the arm of Shinnie. No, says Stephen McLean, or if he did, it was accidental. As Aberdeen continue coming forward. Barron again has not had his best game either. A few stray passes and poor touches. Here he is in possession again, just about 15 yards inside the Dundee half. 15 to play, and that's another poor pass from Barron. Way too much on it, and straight behind. And the disgruntled Aberdeen fans away to our left didn't enjoy that one, Willie.
No, it's a difficult one. You know, you can understand what he's trying to achieve there as Majowski makes a run in behind. It is down that hill, and there is a definite hill there in that ground, and it just picks up speed as it comes off the surface, and it's overhit anyway. It's never near Majowski, but I can understand what he's trying to achieve. It's been a poor night for Conor Barron. He's been pretty good this season, mostly, but tonight's not been his night so far.
Dundee aiming for a first top 6 finish since they were 6th in 2014-2015. That was also the season after they came up, having won the championship the year before under Paul Hartley. Start of a 5-season stint in the top flight. They'll be looking to repeat the trick, you would imagine. Another similar stay, or longer if possible. But they've certainly acquitted themselves well. Tony Docherty's first season as a manager in his own right has gone pretty much as well as he could possibly have hoped. Really tough to say. As he says, if you'd offered them the chance to go 9 points clear of Dundee with 8 games to go or thereabouts, 9 games to go before the season started, you'd absolutely have bitten your hand off, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, and you know, these fans would have as well. You know, I think he's done a terrific job. He's got a lot of experience. He's been, you know, next to Derek McInnes, and he's using all that experience up here.
Oh, this could be big. There's another goal at Dingwall. John Robertson.
And Hibs have turned it around, and deservedly so. Jordan Abita down the left-hand side. He whipped it in. I did call it half-time. Adam Lafondra at the back post. Bullets ahead of it. It's 77 minutes gone. It's Ross County 1, Hibs 2.
Yeah, they must have been listening to you in that Hibs dressing room at half-time, Robbo, with Adam Lafondra coming on to make a difference. Here's Aberdeen coming forward, looking for a leveller. Into the box it comes. Duke can't get there though before Costello, who has defended well when required, comes back out to McKenzie, but it's very ambitious and way over the top from the full-back from about 25 yards, lashes it. He was leaning back as he hit it, and no test whatsoever for John McCracken. So 2-1 to Hibs against Ross County. And here at Dens Park in the closing stages, we've got just about 12.5 minutes left to play. It's Dundee 1, Aberdeen 0.
I think as far as Aberdeen's concerned, that's the only good news of the night, isn't it? That you know, Hibs have taken the lead, because it hasn't been a good night for them. And you know, Jack McKenzie's shown a lot of frustration there. He's just got to take a touch on it. Aberdeen have got Dundee under a bit of pressure. It comes out to him. It's never on to strike that one, you know, first time. At the very least, he's got to take a touch before he strikes it, but he just blasts it over the bar and he takes all that pressure off.
Up towards the edge of the Aberdeen penalty area. The Aberdeen defence managed to deal with that. This game is not won yet, certainly by any means, for Dundee. A slender advantage, albeit they are on top, and Costello slides it forward down the channel. Main just hedging his bets there, but McDonald manages to turn it back to his goalkeeper. Keller also at the edge of his penalty area. There's a lot of disgruntlement in the away end right now. There's a Dundee player down on the far side, and they'll be doing anything just at the moment just to run the clock down as well, Dundee, with that narrow lead that they hold going into the final minutes of the game. Just about 11 left on the clock plus stoppage time as Dodgson picks himself back up, and Aberdeen will have the throw-in over on the far side, midway inside the Dundee half. Right hand side as Aberdeen tries to come forward. It's Devlin to take the throw in, looking for McGrath. Dodgson gets his head to it. It comes to McGrath though. Cross goes Portales, heads it away over on the far side for a throw in to Aberdeen, just about a few yards away from the corner flag. Just over 10 left of the 90. We're going to get another Aberdeen change, and it's going to be Esther Sockler to come on for Conor Barron.
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, it's an attacking change, and well, needs must at this stage with 10 minutes left to play. Aberdeen need a goal, at least one, and a central midfielder off and a forward player on in the shape of Esther Sockler, as the throw-in's about to be taken over on the far side. Hurled in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, flicked on, it's high in the air from Costello. Good punch from McCracken on his line. Pressure there on Sockler as he tried to hit it, and then McDonald, and the shot comes in from the edge of the penalty area, well over the top, and Dundee hold firm, and it remains with just over 9 minutes left on the clock plus stoppage time. Dundee 1, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, you know, it's going to take something a little bit special from the visitors, isn't it? I think that's a positive move. Conor Barron hasn't been anywhere near his best form. You get another striker on as well, but it's desperation, isn't it? Now going with the 4 up top, Sockler, Majowski, Duke on the left, and McGrath on the right hand side. So they're maybe again leaving themselves a little bit short in the midfield.
Yeah, they've got to take a chance, I suppose, at some stage, but here come Dundee. McCowan from the edge of the box, blocked by Devlin. That was an important interception there by Devlin. It was certainly a second Dundee goal now. Well, that is Aberdeen done for, you would imagine, but as it is, still just 1-0. And ball's up at the halfway line. Shock to see, thumps it forward. Tiffany looking to get underneath it, can't bring it under control initially. McDonald with his arms around him. Tiffany's trying to hold on to possession, works it out to the right hand side. Still Tiffany has it, plays it off the arm of McKenzie. What will it be? I think it's just a throw in the end, although it certainly did come off the arm, but not much McKenzie could have done about it.
No, I think it maybe come off the knee, then the arm as well. You know, it's not making that much difference, is it? It's a throw-in instead of, well, perhaps it does make a difference if it's a free kick and an opportunity to throw one into the box again.
That would look like it came off Shinny's arm as well, but again,
I would agree with you.
It's going to be another throw-in. That was on the referee's blind side, albeit the assistant could have seen it, but another throw-in to Dundee, and they'll take these just at the moment with just 8 minutes to go, just run down the clock. 1-0 they lead as they either quest for a top 6 place. Main tries to keep it in play, might well have managed to do so, but just knocks it into the arms of Kelleros from the right hand side, and it's back in the Aberdeen goalkeeper's possession, and he just launches it route one down the middle, but Silla able to chest it down, but he's giving it straight to McGrath. McGrath gets it back. Did he handle that? No, says Stephen McLean. The Dundee fans around about us thought he did. Out to Duke on the left hand side, up against Costello. Costello holding him up. Clarkson in support, turns it back the way to McKenzie. McKenzie back to Clarkson, left hand side, takes a touch, swings it in. Did that come off the arm of Silla? That was certainly the claim from Aberdeen this time, but that one isn't given either, and Silla is taken down by Jamie McGrath. That'll be a Dundee free kick. McGrath is furious and he's going to be booked for his reaction to Stephen McLean, and it will be a Dundee free kick as Aberdeen complain about a potential handball.
It's a handball they're after, isn't it? And McGrath just loses you know, his shape basically, and puts the challenge in Silla, and there's no doubt that it's a free kick, so he's not complaining about that. He gets himself booked, he gets himself a yellow card. It did look like a handball, I must admit, but the referee didn't give it, and you know, you've just got to get on with it, but it shows you the frustration that's out there from the Aberdeen team.
Certainly does. 6.5 left at Dens Park. Dundee 1, Aberdeen 0. It would just be a second victory in 27 meetings in the league for Dundee if they're able to hold on to this one, as Main gets his head to the free kick. Tiffany then knocks it on. Further claims for a handball. They're getting a bit spurious now. I think everything that bounces off the body is being claimed for, but Dundee pick up once more, right hand side, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Back it goes to Costello. Crawford can't keep it, Cameron can't keep a hold of it. Costello puts the challenge in there on Shinny, and he's fouled him, and it'll be an Aberdeen free kick midway inside their own half. Tony Docherty wants it back a few yards. It's right in front of his technical area, up against his former side, the club he served so well for 8 years, and as an assistant, looking to get one over of them here.
He's prowling, isn't he? He's prowling that box that he's in. He's
nervous energy.
He's very close, you know, to a really important victory from him, but he knows that there's still plenty in this game.
Duke challenged there by Costello, fairly, says the referee, and it breaks back to Portales, and now Cameron happy to play out from the back. Silla keeps the possession, finds Costello, steps away from Shinny, still Costello. Playing well, Costello in that right wing back row, gets it back to Cameron, who plays it into the feet of the goal scorer.
Lovely play though.
McCowan, he lifts it forward, asking Main to run in behind. McDonald's there ahead of him, he just turns away, and they will then play it down the left hand side for Aberdeen. Costello battling away there with Duke, knocks it out of play. Aberdeen throwing just in front of their own technical area. 5 to play, Dundee 1, Aberdeen 0. Is there a way back into this game yet, Willie, for Aberdeen?
Well, they'll be hoping so. You know, they haven't created enough opportunities. So, you know, even in the second half where they've had a bit more of the game, then there have been very few chances. In fact, I'm still just getting my off-key opportunity in the first half.
Yeah,
Has there been more than that in the second?
I don't think so. I mean, I'll check my own notes, but no, I don't have an Aberdeen opportunity down either. No.
So, you know, that tells you the balance of this game. Yeah, Aberdeen had a little bit more possession, looked a little bit more energetic, more determined in the second half. But you know, it's Dundee that's dominated the game completely in the first half and mostly in the second.
Dundee goal kick taken by McCracken, 4 to play plus added on time. Main holds it up for Cameron, gets it back to Main, who I don't think particularly wanted it but managed to keep it in play. Clarkson loses out to Cameron, who's also been an excellent buzz bomb, and then it's through to McCowan. Now Tiffany, can he finish it here? It's blocked, comes back to Dodgson on the right foot, his shot's blocked as well. Cameron now for Silla, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Dundee content just to keep possession after that little foray forward, comes to nothing. And now Donnelly tries to play it down the left. Devlin gets in the way of it. McGrath helps it on. McCowan up against Shinnie. McCowan gets the better of the Aberdeen captain, and it's back to Silla, and then Donnelly, and now Cameron once more driving Dundee forward up to the edge of the box. Goes for goal. Kelleros saves it and holds it at the second attempt. Again, it's still all Dundee. Dundee looking the more likely side to score again. And Willie, I think I'll go back to your shout of come on. I'm assuming here come Dundee once more. Shot from the edge of the box from Main, and Ross gathers again at the second attempt after spilling it initially. But
it was Lyle Cameron. He had no right.
Too easy, wasn't it?
I know, he had no
through.
right to get through like that. You know, it was a throwaway line. Maybe been listening to Neil Warnock too long with the throwaway lines, but the one-liners. But come on, just about summed it up, because there's no way the little midfielder should have got himself through the ruck of players there, and it was all, you know, really intricate footwork, some determination as well, a lot of grit too, and it was wonderful to watch.
Yeah, but the way he was able to get through the Aberdeen back line was all too easy, that's for sure. As Tiffany picks up left-hand side. Aberdeen need to muster something in these closing couple of minutes plus stoppage time, otherwise it is yet another poor result on the road. Shinnie tries to drive his side forward. Silla though working back at him. Shaughnessy loses out though to Sockler. It's into the penalty area. Portales is there above Majowski, who hasn't scored in his last 6 games. Could be a 7th without a goal as Aberdeen pick up once more right hand side. Shinnie now plays it out to the right. Again, it comes into the penalty area, but it's rather aimless from Aberdeen, and Dundee just hack it clear. Anywhere will do just at the moment as we enter the final 90 seconds or so of the 90 minutes. Mackenzie down the left hand side for Duke. Duke closely marshalled by Portales. No failures in the Dundee lineup this evening, you'd have to say. Portales wins it back, and then Tiffany, Duke working back. Bailey says Stephen McLean. Looked like he might have fouled Tiffany, but there was one that went the other way, a similar one a moment ago, and Stephen McLean let that one go as well, as Mackenzie gets it into the penalty area. Comes back to McGrath, his shot is blocked. Might yet come for Gartman at the edge of the box into Devlin. Aberdeen just can't quite get a touch to take it into the back of the net as Dundee managed to clear the lines once more. We are into the final minute. Tiffany's down on the halfway line as play rages on. Kelleros has possession midway inside his own half. Tiffany, I think, might just be cramped that he's down with, gets himself back to his feet. Dundee need him in there as the ball's launched into the Dundee penalty area. McCracken gets 2 fists to it, punches it clear. Wanted the free kick, Clarkson gets it back in, glanced on, and McCracken holds it. There was a glancing header there from Sockler at the edge of the 6-yard box. He didn't get enough purchase on it. McCracken holds right on his goal line as the 90th minute ticks round. It is still Dundee 1, Aberdeen 0.
There was a chance, so you know, I actually thought it was a free kick against the goalkeeper, but the referee didn't give it, so a big opportunity for Sockler as the little dink pass came into him. He's just trying to get, you know, enough on it to take it past McCracken, but you know, he gets barely enough on it. 7 minutes. Okay.
Well, Aberdeen will take that, that's for sure. There's been a few substitutions.
Yeah, I was forgetting about the
VAR.
The VAR.
Yeah, it was the VAR that took up the bulk of that. Here's Main though, trying to kill a few seconds down at the corner flag, goes down, hits the deck. Mackenzie trying to get round him. I mean, Curtis Main, he's a big unit, he's a difficult guy to shift, and he's battling away. He's eventually taken out of play, and that's going to be a free kick to Dundee. And Mackenzie just lost his rag in the end. He couldn't get the ball, and he took Main right out of play, and it will be a corner throw-in, a free kick to Dundee at the corner flag. And that will certainly waste a few seconds.
And he gets away with it. I thought Jack Mackenzie actually had quite a swipe at Curtis Main there. You know, Curtis Main doing everything he can, obviously, to hold on to the ball there, and Mackenzie getting a little bit frustrated and taking him out. The referee just ignoring the whole thing, and I'm not sure what is he giving, a corner. I think is it a corner or a free
I'm
kick?
sure it's a free kick, but it is right down at the corner flag. There's going to be a couple of changes here for Dundee as Tiffany and Costello come off, and on will come Ricky Lammy to bolster the back line. And also coming on is Finlay Robertson in the middle of the park. So Tony Docherty certainly with the introduction of Lammy just trying to shore things up. Costello, I thought particularly, Willie, has done a really good job. We questioned perhaps his defensive mindedness, but he's done both jobs, attacking and defending well.
Yeah. I mean, I think as a wing back, you know, you're able to take that little chance. You know that he's a threat going forward, as well as maybe not being the best defensively, but you know, you have got the three centre backs behind him as well. So, and he's done well. He's played well, but the whole Dundee team, it's been a first-class performance from them. You know, that first half was electrifying. You know, Dundee fans haven't seen that style of football, that quality of football for a long time. So they were well pleased. I think as being a football fan, you've got to be well pleased seeing that type of energy and skill and determination, and eventually they get the little breakthrough that their overall play without doubt deserves. Aberdeen still get time, of course, to get something from the game, but it would be to salvage something from the game, nothing more.
Yeah, well, eventually Aberdeen have managed to win possession back after Dundee's attempts to keep it down in the corner flag, and it's a throw-in to Aberdeen midway inside the Dundee half. 4 minutes left of stoppage time. 3 minutes have gone as Gartman will line up this long throw-in from the left-hand side, midway inside the Dundee half. Can Aberdeen somehow muster an equaliser here? And it comes from Gartman to the edge of the 6-yard box. Shaughnessy is up there, turned into the 6-yard box by McDonald and just hacked away by Donnelly, and out for a throw-in again to Aberdeen down near the corner flag, this time on the left-hand side for Gartman to take. The balls are mysteriously going missing here at Dens Park, but one has reappeared and it's in the hands of Gartman. He throws it into the 6-yard box once more. Aberdeen trying desperately to force it on goal, but it's
like it went out
of play altogether.
I think so, yeah.
And it's going to be a goal kick to Dundee, and that will just waste a few more seconds as the Aberdeen fans begin to head for the exits, as they reckon their side are heading for an 11th Premiership game without a victory. And really, that is as a grim a statistic as you could possibly hope to hear if you're an Aberdeen fan.
Yeah, it's dreadful. You know, the performance has been very low-key as well. You know, overrun basically in the first half, a little bit better in the second half, but nowhere near the quality that you need, you know, to come up against a Dundee side that's showing, you know, a lot of good form, a lot of energy, a lot of determination. You know, a lot of good play as well, a lot of skillful play, very intricate play. So, you know, Aberdeen still pushing for it. They might manage to get something in the dying embers of this game, but would they deserve it? Probably not.
Here's Main picking up possession on the halfway line, gets it back into Robertson for Cameron, and now Silla on the halfway line, just overruns it. Aberdeen have it back, it's McGrath out to the right hand side, it's behind Devlin though manages to pick up possession, but then runs it out of play, much to the delight of the home fans here. 5 minutes of stoppage time played, 2 to go, still Dundee 1, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, and they'll just want to take their time. You know, they have been doing that for the last 10 minutes or so. You know, and then the referee starts, you know, brandishing yellow cards at this stage of the game for maybe a little bit of gamesmanship. You know, I suppose by the rules he's right to do that, but you know, it doesn't acknowledge how good and how well the home side have played tonight.
Didn't see who that one was for actually, as I was glancing down. Did you notice?
I wasn't sure.
Doesn't matter, does it? Unless
no,
it's
not at this
unless
stage.
it leads to a second yellow. We'll get that in the aftermath of the game. But a minute and a half left of stoppage time as Aberdeen search for a late equaliser up into the Dundee penalty area. Shocked to say he's been brilliant, gets his head to it, out it comes to Clarkson, back in it goes, comes off an Aberdeen head, but safely into the arms of John McCracken. And really Aberdeen just haven't done enough in an attacking sense in this game to merit anything from it, you would have to say.
No, they haven't created enough chances. Yeah, it's all desperation now, and they're just throwing everything forward. You need to have that energy right from the very start. The first half kind of sets the tone. The likelihood is, you know, if you play like that, then, you know, as McCracken just puts the ball out the park, which is quite incredible at this stage. So, you know, I don't think his manager's happy with that situation. But no, they've got to show much more. You know, when you start the game, what it means to you. You know, the situation that they're in, the fact that they're desperate for the 3 points. They just simply haven't shown that tonight.
No, all the better players have been in dark blue this evening, but there might be one final chance here in the final seconds of injury time as Gartman lines up another long throw in from the left hand side. It's now or never for Aberdeen, and it comes from Gartman into the penalty area. All the heads go up, comes out to the edge of the box. Shinnie on the right foot, blocked. Clarkson helps it back in, flicked on, away with the head. Then Silla gets something on it. Shinnie back into the box. It's Duke. Can he get away and get the shot in? McCowan makes the challenge. There's a flag up on the far side. I think it's an offside against Duke. And that will be that, surely. It has been a fairly weak follow-up to what was a terrific performance on Saturday from this Aberdeen side. The same starting 11 turned out this evening, but they have been unable to match that performance, certainly unable to match the result. And it has been Dundee who have bossed the game. And they will take all 3 points when Stephen McLean eventually blows his final whistle. Seconds remaining as McCracken prepares to take the goal kick, or the free kick out of his penalty area. It comes all the way through to Keller Rose. We're well beyond 7 minutes. There it is, though, it's full time, and Dundee have the victory, a thoroughly deserved victory at Dens Park, albeit a narrow one in the end, and it came from the penalty spot as Jack McKenzie was penalised for handball after a VAR review, and Luke McCowan, with his 8th goal of the season, picked his spot, his 4th goal in his last 6 games. That was the deciding factor in a game in which the chances all really fell to the home side. They should have been in front before the interval, but for a mixture of decent goalkeeping and poor finishing, the second half probably was a more even affair. But Luke McCowan ultimately popping up the decisive goal. But there's been late action at Dingwall. Let's cross to John Robertson. Who's that late goal for, John?
It certainly was, and it's come for the home side. In the 99th minute here, there was 7 minutes injury put on. Hibs seemed settled. They sat in, the ball was knocked in, John Waddell down, Simon Murray smashed the volley. What a save from David Marshall. That was in the 95th minute. You thought the Hibs had seen it out. The ball was put on the far side, I've got to say. I thought it was a throw-in for Hibs. The linesman over the far side gave to County. They took it quickly. They threw the ball in. It was a miss-hit cross. Who was arriving at the back post? Hearts pre-season signing Jan Dander smashed the ball into the net. It looks like it's 2-2. It is 2-2. Hibs are trying to shot from, and there is the final whistle. Ross County 2, Hibs 2.
Wow, what drama.